What if everything you've been told about where your baby should sleep isn't completely accurate? Not unsafe, not irresponsible, just not entirely right. Because when researchers began placing sensors on sleeping infants, they uncovered something most people never hear about. When a baby is left alone in a crib, their body doesn't simply feel lonely. It begins to dysregulate. Heart rate variability decreases, breathing becomes less steady, and cortisol, the stress hormone, rises even while the baby appears to be asleep. Yet, the moment that same baby is placed close to a caregiver, everything stabilizes almost instantly, like flipping a switch. So what's really happening inside a baby's brain and body that makes your presence not just comforting, but biologically essential? That's exactly what we're going to explore, and by the end, you may see your baby's sleep in a completely different way. You might even feel a bit uneasy about ever leaving them alone in a crib. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't just about sleep. It's about survival, evolution, and a deeply rooted biological system that is still active in your baby every single night. To understand this, we have to start at the beginning. When a baby is born, their brain is literally unfinished. At birth, a human baby's brain is only about 25% developed. Compare that to animals like foals, which can stand and walk within hours, or dolphins that can swim immediately. Human infants, by contrast, are almost entirely dependent, but this isn't a flaw. It's actually part of an evolutionary strategy. Over millions of years, humans adapted by giving birth earlier, before the brain is fully developed, because a fully developed brain would require a head too large for childbirth. So instead, much of brain development happens outside the womb. Scientists refer to this stage as the fourth trimester, and during this time, babies are not designed to be alone, not even close. What makes this even more fascinating is that a baby's nervous system is built to use the caregiver as an external regulator. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your warmth, even your scent. All of these act as signals that help the baby's immature brain regulate itself. It's similar to a new operating system that needs to sync with a central server. In this case, you are that server. Without that connection, the system doesn't function properly. And one of the most sensitive times for these disruptions to appear is during sleep. Despite this, many parents are encouraged to teach babies to sleep independently as early as possible. But from the baby's perspective, this transition can be very different from what we assume. Research has shown that babies separated from caregivers during sleep experience a rapid increase in stress hormones within minutes, not hours. Other studies have found that babies who sleep alone spend more time in a heightened state of physiological alertness, even though they may appear calm and asleep. In other words, their bodies are under stress, even when they look peaceful on the outside. This completely changes how we think about sleep. For adults, sleep is rest, but for babies, it's a critical period of development. During sleep, the brain processes and organizes information, eliminates unnecessary neural connections, releases growth hormones, repairs tissues, and strengthens the immune system. All of these processes work best in a calm, low-stress state. And what creates that state for a baby? Human connection. If we look back at our evolutionary past, this makes perfect sense. Thousands of years ago, a baby left alone meant danger, exposure to predators or environmental threats. So evolution wired babies with a built-in alarm system. Being alone signals danger. This is known as the proximity-seeking system, a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. It doesn't recognize modern safety. It doesn't understand that your home is secure or that the crib is nearby. All it registers is separation, and it responds with stress. Babies respond to this stress in different ways. Some cry loudly to signal for help, while others become quiet. But silence doesn't always mean calm. In many cases, a quiet baby may have stopped signaling because they've learned it doesn't work, entering a kind of shutdown state. The stress is still there internally, even if it's no longer visible. That's not independence. It's a different kind of response altogether.